This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. I want to show you something that's very done by design, and just how in our faces this is. Now, a lot of you with the October 4th FEMA text, a lot of people out there just don't seem to understand it. Some of you are new to all this stuff, and some of you are kind of involved in understanding, and some of you don't. So obviously, I understand a lot of people out there don't listen to the videos, and I understand a lot of people out there are going to critique the videos thinking that it's some type of prediction, and I don't have time to even be concerned with the fact that people write things that aren't even in line with what I'm saying in the videos. But this is something that you need to see in regards to October 4th, because conveniently in Congress, they were meeting during the test, and of course, conveniently, none of the members of Congress had their phones shut off for this, right? So we're supposed to believe that all the members of Congress were unaware that this mass text was going on, even though everybody in the earth, everyone in America already knew it was going off. Every local news station mentioned it. It was trending on Twitter. Obviously, they were doing everything they could to debunk any type of conspiracy involving it and promote any kind of conspiracy that was saying that people were going to be walking around like zombies at the time that this alert went off. I'm going to show you what happened in Congress and how the politicians were acting. But what you need to really see, and of course, be forewarned, you're going to hear the frequency at a distance. It's not going to be the same frequency as if it hit your phone because it's at a distance while they're all talking. You'll hear it off the microphone in some cases. And Ted Cruz, of course, giving a look up and a glance up as they're talking about what topic? They're talking about semiconductors, right? For those of you that don't understand what's actually happening, I find it absolutely amazing. Amazing. But of course, it's a coincidence that Congress is meeting and talking about semiconductors, right? If anybody's not familiar with what a semiconductor is, well, a semiconductor is, in fact, what we would consider mobile phones, smartphones, digital cameras, TVs, refrigerators are now semiconductors, washing machines, LED bulbs. Those use semiconductors, right? So we're talking about semiconductors as this entire thing is going on while everyone's phones go off. And of course, everybody out there who knows what the conspiracy, quote unquote, is about semiconductors reacting with conductors. And that would be humans who are the conductors. Take a look at this charade in Congress. Watch the smirks, the laughing, and of course, all of them being oblivious, not being aware that their phones were going to go off while they're meeting, and nobody thinking to shut their phones off.
Semiconductors drive our modern economy. From cell phones and cars to supercomputers and medical devices, these integrated circuits have been integrated into our daily lives. Before 2020, however, when we suddenly couldn't get enough of them, most of us probably didn't realize just how big a role these chips play. It became very quickly apparent that in terms of economic and national security, just how dependent and vulnerable we are on semiconductors. Yes, we rely on these chips for consumer electronics and cars, but they're also in just about every...
It's a test alert. We knew it was coming.
Just tell everybody.
We already did one.
It works.
Yep.
I think your time is up, Senator.
We have an emergency in semiconductors. That's a first. I believe...
We announced it before you got here, so sorry. We should have given you some indication that that was happening.
I think our first witness is a semiconductor. You done? No.
I don't know whose device. Just shut yours off. Did you shut yours off? You have to shut it off. You have to shut it. Yeah, you have to shut it off. Okay. Somebody out there.
As I was saying,
Republicans have solutions. It's the Secure the Border Act. 30 of us have co-sponsored it. It secures the border from illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Now, you know, when a train crashes, they often say that the engineer was asleep at the switch. Well, sleepy Joe Biden, he's been asleep at the switch, and people all across America are dying by the trainloads.
I only respond when there's an emergency. Is everybody?
That's gonna go off when we elect a speaker.
National wireless emergency.
It's gonna be going for a while.
Hitting us differently. I'm sorry.
It's not hitting my watch. Is it hitting anybody else's watch? It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, this one went off first, and yeah, this will probably go on for another.
All right, leader, are we all right? When does it stop? That's what they're asking over there. When does it stop? Is it over yet?
So pretty incredible how they respond to that, how they play dumb to all of it about, oh, the emergency text message. And they happen to be talking about semiconductors. If they don't know what a lot of us have been talking about for the last couple of years, semiconductors for the human body, right? Here's an article. What if we could use the human body itself to transfer and collect information? The area of research is known as human body communication, a Noel transmission technique that uses the human body as a transmission medium. Semiconductor devices, semiconductor interface for human body communication defines general requirements for a semiconductor interface used in human body communication. A semiconductor is a substance with specific electrical properties that enable it to serve as a foundation for computers and other electronic devices. Semiconductors are used in nearly every sector of electronics and are essential components of electronic devices because they control and manage the flow of electric current. As a result, they are a popular component of electronic chips made for computing components and a variety of electronic devices. And it goes on to say, what are semiconductors used for? Semiconductors, advances in communication, satellite systems, wireless communication systems, network equipment, computing, healthcare, military systems, transportation, clean energy, etc. They're also used in everyday consumer electronics, phones, laptops, game consoles, smartwatches, microwaves, and refrigerators. So we've all been talking about mixing man and machine, transhumanism, right? Which is everything that's going on right now. Everybody has heard this, right? Everybody's making fun of and deflecting about what's actually going on with what people are putting inside of their bodies. Now, we know that they've banned, and they even put, if you saw the video I did on the website, Uprising Revival, about the test that YouTube made me take, even talking about, oh, if anybody out there mentions anything, unless, of course, it's Philip DeFranco or one of these puppets that they push and promote on YouTube, debunking it, which, in other words, is just making light of it and making fun of it. If anybody pushes anything with microchips, of course, you'll be silenced and removed from any platform involving Google, right? They just had to do that and talk about that. And anytime anybody uploads anything about chips and nanoparticles, well, they throw you off the internet. There's nothing to be suspicious about there. And they roll all these people out, and I'll do it in a separate video showing you the propaganda to roll out and deflect on what happened yesterday and how fast it all happened. But let's continue and focus on how they were talking about semiconductors, right? And this is what it's about. This is exactly what we've all said that the text message is about, right? The signal from a cell phone, a semiconductor being sent and transmitted and received inside of a conductor, which by definition, a human being is a conductor. So a semiconductor to a conductor, all right? Pretty amazing that that's the topic. That's the sentence that he's on, and then he glances up as this goes off. Did you notice how he looked right up and then all the cell phones started to go off? I mean, are we really going to believe that that is a coincidence? I mean, sure, right? Sure. How many patents out there do we have as far as chipping and putting things inside of human beings' bodies and being able to control those with frequencies, right? One of the things that they don't want you to talk about, I put the clip in many times with Lance Armstrong with the cell towers and the chipping of humans and the controlling of humans. You saw the videos that I've done on October 4th with frequencies and control. I'll have more videos on other things with frequencies. Travis Scott concert I got thrown off for, covering that with the frequencies at the time, and music and frequencies. People don't understand how this affects them, how it affects their mental health, even though I hate using that term. It affects their physical health as well. Frequencies. You know, things you can't see with your actual eye that people don't even understand what they are. They don't teach about this at school. right? So people are like, that's not important. That's not a real thing. They would never hit us with frequencies or waves or anything like that. Even though, you could see these things, you get EMF readers, et cetera, et cetera. You can see frequencies and all this type of stuff, but they don't want you to think it's anything. It's not harmful. Oh, the smart meter on your home, it's not harmful. It's not harmful to you, any of these semiconductors, right? That could potentially, if you have something inside of your body, control you. No, not at all. It's just a huge conspiracy. And again, deliberately doing that in Congress with us supposed to believe, all of us are supposed to believe that nobody went and said, hey, the FEMA test is going off today. We are Congress, right? So we probably should have our phones off for the hour while we're supposed to be conducting business. What are we supposed to do? They all just decide to leave their phone on because they had notes in their phone that they can't use a pen and paper. I mean, deliberately done and then released to the public to see. But it's really just released for people with eyes to see and ears to hear, because everybody else who would see that clip would just automatically go, oh yeah, what's the big deal? Or laugh at it, right? See them all laughing at us in Congress, all cracking up as if it's some big funny ha-ha thing. Oh yes, our phones are all going off. This is a first. Is this over with yet? Yes, let's disrupt Congress with this. Now you might say, well, what about them? Why aren't they affected by it? Well, they're not affected by it because they don't have any of it in their bodies, okay? People are like, oh, how do they avoid it? Even if we avoid it, how do they avoid shedding, et cetera? Well, they actually take something to avoid being affected by this, okay? There is actually, I can't say the word that begins with a V and ends with a scenes, for them to be immune to all the stuff that they're making us susceptible to and sick from, like oxide, okay? They're able to fight these things off. So when you see them and hear them saying that they've taken it, they haven't taken anything. Why do you think they go out of their way to make it seem like they take it? Why does every celebrity post a picture of them taking it? Why does every single celebrity post a picture of them holding up their card to influence their audience to go and get it? Oh, the celebrities are just great people. They want you to know that they got it. They're telling you to go get it, and they're giving you the finger pretending like they got it. So none of them were affected by the frequency for obvious reasons. And again, when I was telling people to go, to make sure that just play it safe, is because graphene oxide is in chemtrails. Graphene oxide is put in food. Now, it doesn't have the same effect as you directly taking it, but we know that they're spraying. I've done videos on it. It's factual. That's not just a conspiracy. You've seen the videos that I've done. I mean, some of you haven't been around for a while with my channels because I'm a new YouTuber, but we all remember the black rain, Las Vegas, other places where there's black rain, literally, and people's cars were covered with black goo. And it was just more proof that they were spraying this from the skies. Now, other people have done experiments removing these marks on their cars, which they said was just soot or acid rain, and found graphene oxide in it. So we know that they've been poisonous with it. So I was telling people to just be better safe than sorry. What's the point of taking a chance? Okay, what's the point of it? There isn't really a point of it. Now, a lot of people reported migraines and headaches. Of course, the mainstream media won't cover that. For people who were unaffected, or I should say, didn't take a certain something. But my point of this video is to show you this right in front of your face, how they literally, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make up the only thing that would have been more insane if they were literally talking about the actual alert, right, saying it, and then being like, hey, did you hear the conspiracies about the alert? But this is pretty much one and the same. Playing dumb to the alert and talking about semiconductors at the same exact second that they go off. That's what they're talking about in Congress. You can't make it up. It's right in front of our faces, and they're all laughing about it, right? And again, they push the propaganda out there so that people could see and go, oh yeah, wait a minute, what is this about, right? Because obviously the natural reaction if they didn't tell you about the alert is that people would be concerned or creeped out because it was a strange sound coming out of their phone. And they would think it was an actual event, which might cause people to be suspicious as to why the government would send out. So they tell you that it's a test because they want to desensitize you and condition you. Then they tell you about the conspiracy because they want people to actually think when they're talking about a zombie apocalypse that people are going to turn into zombies. They're a metaphor for a zombie apocalypse. Literally, these people already are zombies, okay? Literally. They have no brains. They have no thought process. They repeat everything they hear. They're literal zombies. So it is a zombie apocalypse in a sense, but not to the sense of, well, the alarm's going to go off and people are going to be rolling on the ground. And I'll cover that in another video so you could see how all these morons reacted after the 4th came and went, as if people like me, which they never cover me. You might notice this. They never have ever covered me in any of the years. And it's not because, well, they don't know who you are. They know who I am because they go and they flag and remove all my channels. Somehow they find me without me even showing my face. And they remove all the channels. because they have people watching and monitoring me. The celebrities are the same people who do it. I used to get 500,000 views almost every video in the beginning. You know, not that many, but I have 500,000 subs. I've had maybe 50 channels with over 100,000 subscribers. I only got one YouTube plaque. I mean, another YouTuber did, and I'm sure you all saw what I did to that thing. Never got another one. I should have like 50. I should have a wall of them, which all of them would be, of course, smashed with axes, etc. And I do separate videos on if I did actually get sent them. But my point is that they never ever bring attention to me because they know that if a zombie found my work, that they would start to wake up. You have to be an extreme zombie to see the videos that I do. And there are people, obviously. I mean, most of them are the people who bobotize themselves, so they're already mentally insane. Those people will never understand what's going on and never will allow it because they're narcissists. But you have to be an extreme zombie not to see my videos and at least start thinking. Because I show you the signs and symbols. I'm not just here ranting about it. I've shown you this stuff with semiconductors and human beings and what they're trying to do with technology and human beings. And the only way that they could do it is by getting certain things inside of you, the conductor, the human, the conductor, right? So people out there, you know, they want to cover things and say stuff about, oh yeah, everyone said everyone's going to be filming about, look, everybody's perfectly fine. The only people that were saying that were people that were either trying to get views or not aware of what's actually going on or were misled into thinking that's what it would be. And even people who listen to my channel were commenting saying, you were wrong. I mean, what do you mean I was wrong? What do you mean? I said it a million times. You will not know the effects of this because it's under the skin. How many times have you heard Yuval Harari and Klaus Schwab talk about in you, under you? This is invisible with the eyes. It's a silent weapon for a quiet war. The war has been waged on us. These weapons are going to be used just like that, discreetly. And it's going to be blamed on other things like cancer or you caught the 1-9er. It's never going to be admitted. Why would they ever admit to it? They want to depop. They don't care. They don't need to take credit for it. They just want you gone. And they're getting people gone. Prideful people. Narcissistic people. Right? They don't care. So all these people, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I need to do a rant. I need to show you that because I doubt anybody even saw that they were talking about semiconductors at the moment that these things went off. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's right in front of you. It's constantly in front of all of us. They mock us. They show us. Yet nobody wakes up to it. I'll have another video I want to show people. I want to show all you how this got pushed then in the mainstream after the fact, how fast these messages and these stories came out after the fact to make sure they had their deflection mechanism in place. And then they promoted their YouTube puppets, these talentless hacks that get promoted like Philip DeFranco. They throw them out there to their audience to make them even dumber. These people are complete morons. They just take stuff and run with it. They don't listen to anything any of us say, actually the credible people. And of course, they're given scripts to go and produce and they get put in the trending section by design. So I'll show you that in a separate video because I wanted this one to be specifically about it. Share this video so people could see, people who understand about how they were conveniently at 2:18 to 2:20 in Congress meeting on that specific day at that specific time about this, didn't turn their phones off. And of course, they must have been oblivious to the topic of conductors and semiconductors and what this is really all about, right? Give me an utter break. It's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. I thank you for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.